Is that right? I think Shimon. I think we ended with the Gemara Menachos.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Gemara had said, let's read that Gemara again, and then we'll see how he explains. Tanu Rabbanan, the Gemara says, Menachos Daf Mem Gimel. Chavivin Yisrael, how beloved are Klal Yisrael. Shesivavan Hakadosh Baruch Hu b'mitzvos. Hakadosh Baruch Hu surrounded them with mitzvos. Tefillin b'roshehem, tefillin on their head. Utfillin b'zroyoseihem, tefillin on their arm. V'tzitzis b'bigdeihem, u'mezuzos lepischeihem. So it's like we just have mitzvahs all around us. V'aleihen Omar David, and on these 7 mitzvahs, tefillin, tzitzis, mezuzahs. Where's the 7? It says, Aleihen Omar David, Sheva b'yom hilalticha, al mishpatei tzidkecha. Maybe it's tefillin is one. This is like something for the Rosh Hashiva to talk about. Tefillin is one mitzvah too. There's a lot of Torah on that. Tefillin, tzitzis, 4 corners, and then that's what it is. 2 tefillin, 4 corners, and mezuzah. That's what it is. That's it. Okay, good. We're good. Okay. I praise you, Hashem, 7, because we're surrounded by mitzvahs. Says the Gemara, it's at the time that David came in to the bathhouse, and he realized that he was standing unclothed. Omar, he said, Oili, how could this be, that I'm not surrounded by mitzvahs anymore? The Beis HaMerchas doesn't even have a mezuzah on the door. You don't put a mezuzah on the door of a Beis HaMerchas. There's really no mitzvahs. When he remembered the milah in his flesh, he felt a calmness. When he left, he said Shira al Hashminis Mizmor David on the 7th. Before it was the Sheva, there's an 8th. On the 8th. Al Hashminis on the 8th mitzvah, Al Milah Shenitna B'Shmini. Oh, he says Al Milah Shenitna B'Shmini. Al Milah was given on the 8th day. It's also the 8th mitzvah in his Sivavam B'Mitzvahs. Maybe we'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, so what's going on here? It's like dramatic bath that David HaMelech took. What's happening here? Says the Mashgiach. Ulahavin, to understand. Eich hitzta'er David HaMelech olav hashalim al she'ein mitzvah imay b'beis HaMerchatz. What was the tsar? What was David HaMelech's tsar that he doesn't have a mitzvah with him in the Beis HaMerchatz? Haloi ha'halacha. That is the halacha. She'ein afilu leharher b'davar she'bekedusha b'merchatz. You're not even supposed to think in learning in the merchatz. Ach havanas v'inyan hi ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu sivavon b'mitzvahs. David HaMelech was noticing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu surrounded us with mitzvahs. It wasn't stam like David HaMelech. Now, 1 second, I don't have mitzvahs. Like David knows. He's been around. He knows that's how it goes. It was a hakara that I could remove the mitzvahs. They're not inseparable from me. There are instances in my life that I don't have the mitzvahs. What kedusha do I have that I'm inseparable from? That's what concerned him. The mitzvahs didn't become the essence and the flesh of Adam. There are situations that a person is mufka, and you understand that that's an avodah recognition also. That means that in life, my connection to kedusha is tenuous. It could end. It could be severed. Rak mitzvah achas v'yechida. There's one single mitzvah. Nihiyasa atzmis ba'adam, that became it's atzmis. It's inseparable from a person. Lebilti hipared mimenu la'olam, not to separate from him forever. V'hi hamila shehi brischa shechosamta b'v'sareinu. Your bris that you sealed in our flesh. Now this is a very, very deep thing. I'm going to just point out to you that this is not to say that the 7 mitzvahs are nothing. we know that the relationship between 7 and 8, it's not the pshat that 8 is one more than 7. When we say that 8, you've heard this, that 8 is like Kedusha, there's Hanukkah, there's 8 is Lamayla Ben Ateva. Have you ever heard these ideas? 8 is Lamayla Ben Ateva. The idea is that the 7 is Olam Hazeh. 7 represents how things spread out in this world. The Shefa spreads out into 7 days, 7 years, Shemitah, 7 Shemitas, Yovel. That's how Olam Hazeh is nischalek in 7. How many names does the Yetzer Hara have? Sheva Shemos, because the challenges of this world could be explained in 7 different ways. How many parts of Gehenim are there? Shiva Madure Gehenim, because the challenges of Olam Hazeh, the Einshim that await, there are 7 aspects to. 7 is all the different parts of Olam Hazeh. But Olam Hazeh comes from somewhere. It comes from a Kedusha, Lamaila. That's the 8th. The 8th is really the 1. It's the Shirish of the 7. So when David HaMelech recognizes that there's a Milah that he can't separate from, that's the Sheva. That pasuk Sheva B'Yem Yalticha was not removed from Tehillim. You know that. It's still there. And the reason for that is because that is a praise. How beautiful is it that we're surrounded by mitzvahs. But our being surrounded by mitzvahs is an extension of the fact that there's an integral Kedusha inside me. I am Kaddish because I have a Kedusha Sabris that connects me to HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the deepest levels, and Memela, it spreads out in my life that I have a mezuzah on the door and a tefillin on my flesh and so on and so forth. The other thing that's interesting to realize is that the bris is the thing that makes it that we never lose our connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, a bris is always that the chet is not goyim anything. The bris with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like it says in the Teichacha, B'chol Zayis, Hashem says, no matter what averis you did, Lo me'astim v'lo me'ge'altim, I was not disgusted from them, I did not reject them, L'chaloisam, to destroy them, L'hofer brisi itam, to be mefer my bris, to destroy my bris. Because once HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a bris with us, we are bound to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in an inseparable way. The mitzvah of Milah, which is inseparable from our guf, represents a kesher to Hashem that's inseparable. It's not coincidental. It's not like, oh, thank goodness we have a mitzvah on our flesh. It's very specific. This is the bris milah. The bris milah is the mitzvah that represents that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, despite any mistakes we might make, our aliyahs, our yeridas, our failures, our mechshalim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always attached to us. In fact, in a few nights from now, it's going to be Yom Kippur. We're going to say again and again and again, La bris habeit, al teifen la yetzer. Hashem, look at the bris, don't turn to the Yetzer. The Yetzer Hara might be telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu all kinds of terrible things about us. We tell Hashem, look at the bris. La bris habeit, yal teifen la Yetzer. Zuhi minifla'os kedushas Yisrael. This is from the wonders of the kedusha of Klal Yisrael. SheHaKadosh Baruch Hu koras bris al nitzchias u kedushas haguf. Shel ha'adam Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a bris on the eternity and the holiness of the guf of the Yid. Unbelievable. Who would have thought that our bodies could be a keli, a vessel that holds kedusha? Al kach tiknu ha-bracha. This is the bracha that's said by a bris, the unbelievable bracha of the bris. Asher kidesh, when the bris happens, after the moil does the actual bris milah, so they call up someone to hold the baby, and someone to make hold a kais with a gafen and a bracha. That's a bracha on the bris milah. It's not a brichas ha-mitzvahs on the bris milah. It's like a brichas haidah on the bris milah. And then after that, they do the kriyas shem and they give the name. So at this, this moment of this bracha, the bracha is Asher Kidesh Yedid Mi Beten, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sanctified. He made Kadosh, his friend, Yedid, his close one, Mi Beten, from the moment he was born. How many mitzvahs did that child do? None. How many choices did that child make to serve Hashem? None. And yet, he has Kedusha. Incredible, no? Asher Kidesh Yedid Mi Beten. You know where that Kedusha comes from? It doesn't come from Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu became a Yid, right? Avram Avinu found HaKadosh Baruch Hu and embraced him. But the first one that had a bris milah l'shmeina is Yitzchak Avinu. We have Yitzchak to thank for the fact that we're Kadosh. It's called Kadosh Meirechem. We're Kadosh from the womb. We don't have to, a ger has to choose Kedusha. It's just an incredible thing if you think about it. We don't have to choose Kedusha. We hold this 8-day-old baby. It's basically a piece of flesh. There's nothing. There's no decisions. There's nothing. But it's not a piece of flesh. It's a place that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Mekadesh. And we place the bris on this 8-day-old baby. The Medrash says that it really would have been earlier. But Hashem was just merachem on the child to give it a little strength. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, at the first possible opportunity, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was chaysein his bris on this child, not because of anything he did, just because who he is, because he has a Jewish mother. Unbelievable. V'chayk b'she'eroi, and this chayk is a law, but it means like this idea. B'she'eroi, what's she'eroi? Hainu begufay. That's in his body. Some, the chayk b'she'eroi, some. Hashem placed this in his flesh. V'tze'etza'ov, this is Yitzchak Avinu. V'tze'etza'ov chosam be'ois beris kodesh. And his children, he sealed with this sign of the holy bris. Al kain, says the bracha. Therefore, Kel chai chelkeinu tzureinu. The living Hashem was our chelik, our rock. Tzaveh lahatzel yedidos she'ereinu mishachas. Please command to save this connection of our flesh from destruction. Mishachas. Leman brisai. In the schos of the bris, asher sambiv sarenu, that he placed in our flesh. So he says, B'bakei machar nizbar. In another place it was clarified. The Rebbe writes about this in other places. Ba'arichos at length. Shehatayra hakedosha hi olam hayedidos. The holy Torah is a world of yedidos. Yedidos is an incredibly connected, loving friendship. It's like friendship and love put together. That's yedidos. A loving friendship that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has with us. And the Torah is called the world of Yedidas. When we sit here and we're Oisik B'Torah, we're entering a world of Yedidas with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Think about it. The bracha in davening that we daven for Talmud Torah is Ava Rabba Ahavtanu, or Avas Olam if you daven a Sfarad. So that's the bracha that we express. Lilmod Ulalamed Lishmar Velasis Ulakayim is the bracha of Ava. V'kan henenu loimdim. And here we learn ki yedidus zois kaileles gam v'davka es aguf, that this friendship with Hashem is not like, I'm very connected to your neshama. Your guf is garbage, but I'm connected to your neshama. No, by this bracha and bris milah, we realize when Hashem loves us and connects with us, it's with our bodies, not just our neshama. Unbelievable. Bris shel netzachu, and it's an eternal bris; it can't be broken. Garsinon be'erevin. The Gemara says in Erevin, Bahad de Paishe Yisrael, Ein ur gehenim shayletes bahen. The Gemara says that even the sinners of Klal Yisrael, the fire of Gehenim, can't destroy them. Why? The Gemara says, Hahu de mechayvi, hahu shaita begehenim. Someone who's obligated to go to Gehenim, someone who the HaKadosh Baruch Hu paskins, you have to, unfortunately, you did Averis, you need to go to Gehenim. But also Avram Avinu, we have a Zaidi up there. Avram Avinu comes to Gehenim, Masiklu, takes them out. That one is mine. Let me have it. Takes them out. Umekabeluhu bar Yisrael, umekabeluhu, and he accepts them. Bar mi Yisrael shaba alakusis, with the exception of the Yisrael who was mezana with a guy. The mashcha arlasai v'loy mivshaker lay, because he pulled his arla and it's not recognizable. In other words, sometimes a Jewish man wants to be able to be accepted among the Goyim, so he mutilates himself to look like he still has an arla. He changes. He tries to cover up the bris. Mashcha arlasai. So, and with that he's able to go and be with Goyim. So that pirush v'lei nikar habris, and the bris is not recognizable. Avram Avinu will save anybody whose bris is recognizable. And look at this. It's worth learning the Sefer just for this little word here, li. Ubir li hagoyen Rav Avram Eliyahu Dessler Nishmas Hayeda. Rav Avram Eliyahu Dessler explained to me, he's talking about himself, Rav Avram Eliyahu Dessler is the author of the Michtav Eliyahu, the Mashgiach of Panovich. Rav Avram Eliyahu Dessler was, his story is, I get the chills, I just got the chills just mentioning his name. Okay, Rav Avram Eliyahu Dessler was a person who he comes from a very, very, very connected Musar family, related to the whole Messiah of Musar. His father, Ruvain Dov Dessler, was one of the great Bali Musar, learned in Kelm, but he needed a job, so he went to become a pulpit rabbi in London. I think in London, certainly in England. I think maybe in London. And he was a rabbi there, and the rabbinate was not an easy place to be. They were Amaratim, they weren't so interested, and he would give these shmuzin, this fiery shmuzin. It was one of the worst things ever, is to give a fiery shmuz, and there's nobody to receive it. It was very hard. Rav Dessler was 52 years old, and there was a sheikhet, big tzaddik, his name was Rav David Dryan, I think. And this sheikhet wrote a letter to, I believe it was 23 Rabbanim in England, suggesting that they start this idea that he had called a kaidel. And he sent it to 23 Rabbanim. 21 of them just threw out the letter. It was crazy. They start supporting something to be learning full time. It's crazy. One Rav wrote him back that it's impossible to do. Dessler was 52 years old. Usually when someone's 52, they're not starting new parts of their life. They're not starting new things. Rav Dessler was 52. It's very special to me because I'm turning 52 this week. Rav Dessler was 52, and he wrote back, "Where do I sign? Let's do it." And Rav Dessler was to England what Rav Aaron Kotler was to America. He started a massive Limudat Torah movement in England, and then years later, he used to give shiurim in the Kollel. He used to travel the length and breadth of England, raising money for the Kollel. And then he would come into the Kollel from the train and give these ma'arachot, give these little shiurim and everything. He was just unbelievable. And then he moved to Bnei Brak. He became the Mashgiach of Panovich. And that's what Michtav Eliyahu, most of Michtav Eliyahu was written from his shmuz in Panovich. And he was just a nifladik person. It's interesting. All of his life he had a little trim beard. When his Rebbitzin passed away, suddenly his beard grew long. Someone asked him, and he's like, "My wife didn't like the long beard." So he waited his whole life, and she was nifter, so then he went there. But Rav Dessler's midas, his depth, his knowledge of Kabbalah, his being able to synthesize so many different branches of learning, from Chasidus to Maral to Musar, he was able to, if you learn Rav Dessler, he's able to synthesize it into one chefza, very, very, very deep. So the Mashgiach here apparently had a relationship with him, Rav Volba had a relationship with him. Let's read that explanation. Ubir li hagoyin Rav Avram Eliyahu Dessler nishmasay Eden. He explained this idea of Avram Avinu pulling people out of Gehenna because he recognizes their bris. And he said, Ki Avram Avinu olav hashalom hu bal habris. Avram Avinu is the bal habris. He's the one who received the bris. V'hu avi kol b'nei bris. And he's the father of anyone who has a bris. Asher hayrish lanu habris v'hakedusha, because he gave over to us the inheritance of this bris and this kedusha. V'zuhi kedusha atzmis v'nitzchis. It's an inherent and eternal kedusha. Hashoimeres es ba'aleo meho avadoin shel gehenim. It protects its Baal, the one who has it, from the destruction of Gehenna. V'afal pi shechata Yisrael, even if he did averis, he's still protected. Rak haba al bas el nechar, someone who's born, who has znos with a guy, poigeya bebris atzma, it's an affront to the bris itself. The gam boy adayin nimtzas kedushas dekudas hakedusha. He says, don't think that someone who's poigeya in their bris loses their dekuda of kedusha. They don't. It just becomes less nicker, becomes a little bit buried. So that's what he says. Achi behelim koirav. It's so hidden. The loim if shakarle. That's not. Avram Avinu is not goyrus it. But that's the That's the kedusha of the bris. And, part of our job, we'll stop here, but part of our job learning through this is to try to learn how to be machshiv and to respect the bris. Because that's the first step to us being able to be oimed and nisyanos that have to do with the bris, is to respect it, to have a certain awe and respect. You know how it's like, you ever have this, that like, you're sitting next to a tzaddik and you're just like, I hope he can't see my averis, and like a little uncomfortable, and you just feel so like, and you just want to think good thoughts, right? You don't want to think, you ever have this? Like you're sitting with a gadol, you don't even want to think bad thoughts, like, because like you're like too close to the fire here, And, I certainly I've been in the presence of, sometimes I even was reluctant to be in the presence of tzaddikim. It's like, it's a little like, it's overwhelming. Imagine that we were able to feel that way about our own bris. Imagine we could be internal and inherent. I'm Kadosh. I have to be careful what I think, because I'm a Gadol. Forget about the fact that I'm in front of a Gadol. I'm a Gadol. I'm full of Kedusha. I'm a grandchild of Avram Avinu. I've inherited this bris. You know what I am? I have a bris to protect. And every movement, especially in our insane generation. I want to say this. I think it's important to say that we're pulled towards a lack of chashivos of the bris, like crazy in this generation. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's terrifying, and it's painful for us. It's painful. I've never met a guy who's struggling with these things and loves it. It's always painful. It's always painful and sad and difficult. And people that are misgaber, when a person's having a point in his aliyah where he feels like he's got it under control, just like this liberating feeling, this strength, this aliyah, it's exhilarating. And it's important to know, because it could sound a little depressing, like Abal Basel Necher, okay, maybe that's not my nisayon, but maybe there are other nisayonis of Pageh or Bris that are hard for me. It's important to know that in a world that we live in, that we're pulled so much in the other direction, every movement that we make towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu generates such powerful Kedusha. And the problem is that we're not machshav that. So let's say a guy goes through an Elzman and he falls twice over Elzman, let's say. And he goes into Yom Kippur. That's all he's thinking about. All he's thinking about is that he had failures. Where's his Kedusha? Why did I learn this Volva before Yom Kippur? What's going to be with me? That's what he's thinking about. But he's not thinking about the other 28 days of Elul, that he fought the good fight, and that he kept Kedusha in his life, and that he battled that, and that he worked hard. And every day of those 28 days that he withstood the test of Kedusha, he infused the entire world with massive doses of Kedusha. We don't realize that. And maybe we would fall less if we realized how high up the mountain we are. Maybe sometimes we fall because we already feel so low. And if we would realize the chashivos that we have, and just the fact that we're sitting and learning Torah, that we're trying, we're fighting it, we're battling it, we're trying to live a life of Kedusha in this Dor HaMabul that we live in, if we would be machshav it would be easier to do. I know the guys that struggle with this kind of thing, so a lot of times the success feeds on itself. So let's say a guy is able to, big gibar. There are guys that are able to do this, and they go a full year, without Shmiras Einayim issues and everything, go a full year. The next year, there's a certain protection that they have. Not everyone is aimed in it. Certain protection, like, I went a year. There's certain chashivas I have for myself. In a certain sense, I've climbed the mountain. I don't want to fall down that mountain again. The problem is that a lot of guys that didn't go a year also are up there on the mountain because they fought good fights and they've struggled, they struggled to maintain their Kedusha. And Avram Avinu was up there at the door of Gehenna being proud of them. And they're walking around thinking Avram Avinu probably wouldn't recognize me. That's a very, very, very big avla. And this is, I'm just going to, just Yom Kippur, to learn such a thing in Yom Kippur week, I have to speak it out, that this is one of the key tactics of the Yetzer Hara. One of his main key tactics is to tell you you're already low. That's what he wants. wants you to think you're already low. He has you, then you're done. You're done. There's just nothing left after that. But if you could be smarter than him, and you could ask, I'm low, I'm in a yeshiva, I'm learning, I'm trying, I'm struggling, I'm placing myself, identifying myself with a machane of Kedusha. My value system is Kedusha. I'm fighting, sometimes I failed, but I'm fighting the good fight for Kedusha. Such an unbelievable power in Kedusha in that Yitzhara is desperate for me not to tell this to you. He's desperate. He's freaking out right now. He's desperate for me not to tell you. I mean, ma'arviv the satan. You know, chas v'shalom, you have to be careful. You know, we don't say gira ve'ena to sit now. We don't start off with the sun. But I'm just saying it to be machazik that the last thing the Yitzhara wants is for me to tell people that they're halik, because then they might have the strength to be halik. He doesn't want that. So he and we all have this. We go into Yom Kippur, every failure is flashing in front of our eyes. The successes, not so much. It's a big mistake. We have to go in with our successes, because the more we recognize the power of who we are, the greater we can climb. So Mitzvos Hashem will continue. I think we're done for this man. We'll continue after Sukkot to learn the sugya of Mila, and you'll see how proud you will become of the Kedusha of the year learning this mitzvah of Mila Be'ez Hashem. Yashkayach.